Hello and welcome to this edition of The Buzz, everything that's going on around and about Abington Green Wave sports at Abington High School. My name is Shawn Reilly and it's a pleasure to bring you this show that's produced by Abington Cam, intended to give you updates, information, schedules, game reports, and interviews with some of our student athletes and basically to bring you up to date with all the goings on around Abington High School and their sports programs. Abington High School is very proud to boast about the successes of their sports program, so we always have a lot to talk about. A little bit later today, we'll be talking with our athletic director, Peter Serino, who will give us kind of a general information and update about all of our sports teams. We'll also be talking soon with one of our #1 student athletes, a person I think you'll really enjoy listening to and meeting, as I know I will be. But before we get there, I wanted to send a shout out and a thank you to all of the residents of Green Wave Nation, the community members. You were very successful, very generous, I should say, during the recent Abington Green Wave Boosters door-to-door annual drive, when student volunteers went around knocking on doors, asking for donations to help support the Green Wave athletic programs. And this year was one of the most productive and successful annual door-to-door drives for the boosters, which was incredibly important to the Green Wave athletic program because last year we were unable to have the door-to-door drive due to COVID. So we again want to thank you for your generosity. Thank you to all the parents who volunteered to drive the students into the different neighborhoods. And we greatly appreciate your continued support of the Abington Green Wave Boosters, because for every dollar donated to the boosters, that money goes right back into all the freshman, junior varsity, and varsity sports programs throughout the school, and it helps buy safety equipment and pay for buses and time on the ice and just anything of those little extras that make Abington Green Wave sports such a great opportunity and a great experience for our student athletes. There are many great things going on at Abington High School, from athletics to academics to musical theater to art shows. It's just a great opportunity for parents and people in the community just to get involved and see what's going on at Abington High School. For today's show, we're going to be focusing on Green Wave sports, as we said. And in just a minute, I'll introduce you to one of our super student athletes who I think you'll be very impressed with, and I'm looking forward to meeting myself. So we'll be back in just a second with our student athlete interview.
Hi, I'm Matt Lyons, student intern here at Abington Cam, Abington's local cable station. And although our building is located in the high school, you don't have to be a student to get involved. Anyone in Abington who's looking to contribute to the local access programming is encouraged and welcome to help out. Tired of all the boring things on TV? Well, here's your chance to do better. Whether you want to learn the technical aspects of what goes into a production, want to learn how to edit professional-looking videos, want a cup of our famous water, want to host your own interview show.
Matt, how do you get your hair like that? Looks fantastic. That's a great question, Matt.
Want to host your own art show,
Or your own sports show. Go along.
then Abington Cam is the place for you. So stop on by. We're here for you.
All right, we're back for more of The Buzz here at Abington High School, a show that gives you all the information about what's going on in Abington High School athletics. And it's now my pleasure to introduce you to one of our premier student athletes here at Abington High School. Miss Jackie Erner is with me today. Jackie, welcome aboard to The Buzz.
Hi, thank you.
Jackie, you've been impressive to watch as a track athlete for Abington High School. You're shattering records throughout your career. It is just fun to read about you and to watch you. I was able to watch one of your recent meets. Your coach gave me a list of some of your superlatives, and we had to write it down because there's so many of them. 7-time South Shore League All-Star in cross country, winter track, and spring track. You're the contender right now for the South Shore League MVP in cross country. You've been the Patriot Ledger All-Scholastic in all 3 track sports, an All-State qualifier for the cross country as a freshman, which is amazing. You're the senior captain this year, team MVP in cross country and winter track. You hold the school record in the 4x800 and the all-time school record for the home cross-country course record, which is unreal. You've won numerous track medals, state medals, league champion. Your team has been the league champion in 2019 for cross-country, 2020 for winter, 2021 for spring. And you're a state qualifier in the mile, the 2 mile, and the 4x800. I'm not sure what more you could do other than that. You were recently awarded the Arnold Trophy for one of the premier student athletes at Abington High School. And to be clear, that is an award that goes to a superlative athlete and a superlative student. So congratulations on all of those accolades. You're impressive to watch. Tell me, when did you get started in your track career?
I've been running probably since the 5th grade. I did soccer for 11 years, and I was on a club team, and we would do CrossFit, and we had to run as part of that. And I excelled at the mile. I did really good, probably better than I played the sport of soccer. And I just grew to love it, and I would compete in 5Ks. Definitely the Jeff Coombs was like one of my races. I enjoyed running. And when it came to making the decision between soccer and cross country, I last second decided cross country was the way to go, and it was one of the best decisions of my life.
So obviously you're a long distance runner. You're not the sprinter, you're the long distance. Do you have a favorite event that you like to run?
I enjoy doing the 5K. I think I enjoy that the best, definitely. Because I feel like I have an easier time going longer distances. For track, I like doing the mile and the 2 mile both in one meet, just because it takes the pressure off of one alone. And the 4x8, I do that. Sometimes I do the 4x4 too. Those are a little bit more intense, but they're not like the worst, but they're also not my favorites. Yeah.
Well, you've been as we mentioned, you're the senior captain. You've been a great leader. Tell me a little bit about your team, your teammates. It just seems like a real fun group of not only the women's team, the girls team, but also the boys team. You guys have a lot of interrelationships.
Definitely. We're pretty unique, I think. When I made the switch between like a regular like sports team to cross country and track, it was definitely a noticeable difference. We were more closely bonded because like we're a smaller team, and we spend a lot of time together and getting to know each other, and we're all in the same thing. Like we're doing the same struggle, we're experiencing the same hardships. We're all in it together, and we're rooting for each other, and it's really a great experience. And we have a lot of good memories. Everyone offers something to the table, and it's awesome.
It is really. I was at one of your recent meets, and another victory for you. And it is awesome to watch. You know, obviously as a track runner, you're on your own out there, pushing yourself to do as well as you can. But you're also a team.
Yeah.
You're running as a team. You're running individually at the same time, because explain to us how the scoring is. You want to get as few points as possible by having as many teammates finish as well as possible.
Yeah, so first place gets first, they get 1 point. Second place gets 2 points, and so on. So the more people you have in the beginning means the less points. The sizes of the teams can throw it off a little. Like, it gets pretty complicated, but overall, like, you want as many of your teammates in the front compared to the other team.
And you have a good group of seniors that are
Yes.
leading. Who are some of the other members of your team that are just, I mean, you don't have to name them all, obviously. We'll miss some of the names, but there's some fun people that you run with.
So for the girls, we have Mia. We call ourselves the dynamic duo. We're kind of known as that. We run together a lot. She's injured this season, unfortunately, which was pretty hard for me because she was my running buddy.
Yeah.
We have Gabby. She's an awesome teammate, like really. She's a senior as well. And then for the guys, we have one of the most notable ones is probably Aiden and Enver. They just are like, have these personalities that like make you want to go to practice. All of the senior guys are kind of like that, and the girls. All of them are just awesome.
It was kind of fun watching the personalities during the meet, before the meet, after the meet, and as people are coming across the finish line, you get your own. You know, you had people, the fans in the stands. It all ends up. The start and finish line is down right behind at Memorial Field, so it's a great way to watch the beginning and end of the cross country races. And I thought it was also cool where the football team stops their practice at the start and is just there at the start line to cheer on the runners as they go. So a lot of good camaraderie for Abington High School.
Absolutely.
Now you got a couple of fun events coming up towards the end of your season. I know you mentioned something called the Twilight Race. What's that all about?
So that's definitely one of my favorites, favorite meets like of the entire year. Honestly, it's at night. And everything, the whole course is lit up with like fairy lights, string lights, stuff like that. And we get home pretty late, like 11:30. But everyone gets their best times there. It's like there's music, there's food, there's stuff to do. It's so much fun.
And that's down at Barnstable?
Yes, yeah.
So all the different track teams from around can get down there and
it's a
compete.
huge meet, yeah.
That's great. And how'd you do last year at the Twilight?
We didn't have it last year because of
That's
COVID.
right, it was COVID.
Yeah. Sophomore year, the boys made some soup.
Yeah.
I don't they're the type of people to do that.
Yep.
And then freshman year, I think I got my 5K PR there.
Personal
Yeah.
record.
Yeah.
For the track people who don't know,
Yeah.
PR is a personal record.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that the boys team, a little shout out, brings some more soup for this year.
Of course, yes.
That's great. Now, and then obviously after the Twilight meet, you start going into some of the state competition.
Yeah. So we still have leagues, which is just the teams that we've already faced, but all at once. Then states, which is a little bit wider. It's like our division, kinda. And then hopefully, if I requalify again, like I did freshman year, I can go to all states. But that depends on how you do at states,
Yeah.
how you place. Yeah.
So if you do very well at states, you're invited to go into
Hopefully,
all states.
yes.
Which is basically, as we talked before we started taping, it's like the Super Bowl of
Yeah.
track meets.
Kinda. Yeah.
Well, we wish you well. I hope you do.
Thank you. Me too.
You do
Thank
great.
you.
Now, tell me, what are your plans beyond Abington High School? This is senior year.
Yeah.
It'd be a very successful year academically and athletically. What are you thinking about your future?
So definitely looking into pretty local schools. UMass Boston is a big one for me. They got all I got. I mean, all I want. They have nursing, guys. I want to go into nursing. They also have like marine biology. I'm kind of interested in that. They have cross country, track, stuff like that. They're D3, so I could definitely run there. I know some people that were on the track team last year that run there now. And then American International, I'm looking at kinda, which like is in Massachusetts, and then. I mean, there's some others, but those are the two big ones I'm looking at.
Well, any college that accepts you is going to be
Oh, yeah.
the benefit of a very good student athlete.
Yeah.
I wish them well. Hopefully they make the right decision for you.
Yeah.
Talk to me about recruiting. If you're talking now to a 6th grader, 7th grader, 8th grader out there, what would you say to them about why they might want to try out track?
If you don't do it for the sport, do it for the team. Like, honestly, I can't emphasize enough how awesome the teammates are. It's unlike any other. And not only do you get that teammate experience, you're pushing yourself to your maximum. And when you get that PR, like when you do good, you feel awesome. Like, it's just the best feeling in the world. Like knowing you did that and that your teammates are behind you. And honestly an awesome experience.
It's great seeing your own personal progress.
Yes,
'cause
absolutely.
Obviously, they keep your times for every race, so you can see your self-improvement and how you're getting stronger through the season. And I know Coach Campbell has been a great force, and I want to give him a credit. Whoever does the Twitter account does a lot to promote Abington High School
Yes.
track.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, it used to be a sport that was in the shadows because it ran
Yeah.
kind of in the woods and stuff, and people didn't get to see it. That's not the case now, and you're helping to bring that to the limelight with all the success of our track team. So thank you, and thank your coach for doing that.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I guess I want to just congratulate you once again from Abington High School.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for pushing, because your leadership pushes other kids on the team. And before we go, I noticed, and I think the viewers at home noticed, you have a necklace on 222.
Yes.
Tell us
right
what that's
here.
all about.
Okay, so there's these things called angel numbers. It's like 111, 333, stuff like that. And 222, they all mean something. 222 means alignment. Like you're on the right path, you're doing good, you're doing what you need to do, like things are gonna work out. And that one resonated with me a lot. I think it was really inspiring because I would see the numbers a lot over the summer especially. And in hard times, it's nice to see, like when you see like the time is 222, like PM or something. It's like, oh, like it's kind of like the universe is telling you, like it's reminding you you're on the right path. And that one just stood out to me a lot. I also graduate 2022, so I just like the number a lot.
Well, it seems to be working for you.
Yeah.
You are a very positive person.
I try.
You're a very successful student
Thank
athlete.
you.
Want to thank you for being our first ever guest here on The Buzz.
Oh, wow,
I don't know
thank
if we can
you.
get anybody better than Jackie Erner.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you, and good luck in the rest of your senior year and
Thank
wherever
you.
life takes you after that. And if you can tune in and stay tuned on what's going on with Abington High School track and cross country, maybe stop by and watch a track meet. We'll be reading about you on Twitter and in the newspapers. Ladies and gentlemen, Jackie Erner from Abington High School.
Thank you.
Welcome back to The Buzz from Abington High School, and joining me now, I'm pleased to welcome aboard once again, is our athletic director, Peter Serino. Peter, always good to see you. A lot of stuff going on. You're a very busy guy. The life of an athletic director is always something's going on, whether it be busing or weather-related issues or just scheduling games and referees. But a lot of good things happening in Abington High School sports. Can you give us kind of an overall summary of where we are?
Yeah, absolutely. First off, thanks for having me back again, and thanks for all the work that you and Abington Cam is doing to get the word out about sports here at Abington High School. And as you mentioned, the fall season is underway. It's going great, very well so far. Our golf team has had an outstanding regular season to this point, and next week really culminates their season on Monday. We'll have 6 golfers participating in the state tournament, which is great news, very exciting. They're currently 11-4 with 1 match to go, which is just an outstanding year in a really competitive league. So that's great to see for them, and hopefully they do well on Monday down the road. And then, the other sports are getting close to the end of the season. Every team has had some great individual performances, some great team performances, and it's kind of the tournament push for some of our teams. Our boys soccer team is hoping to qualify. They're right on the bubble with their power rating system, which is new this year. I know we talked about that last time. And the same thing for volleyball, which is great to see for 2 programs really making a push to get into the tournament and hopefully make a little bit of a run there. Our football season extends a little bit longer, but their tournament also starts in November, and they've put themselves in a pretty nice position to hopefully qualify and maybe even host a home game, which is great to see. And I know Jackie Erner was just on to talk a little bit about cross country, and they're having a great season. Obviously, she has been outstanding, but a number of the other runners are doing great as well. And they have their big league meet coming up later this month and into November, and then hopefully some strong performances at states. And our cheerleading team, of course, they haven't had any of their competitions yet, but their competition season does kick off coming up, and we're excited to see them back competing after a year off.
Well, there is a lot going on the fields, on the volleyball court, out in the cross-country routes and all. And one great thing that Abington always has is a great fan base, too. And we really got to send a shout-out to the fans in Abington for being out there to support the student-athletes. Whether you have a son or daughter on the team, it's great to see all sorts of faces out there. And talking about fans, we had a huge fan crowd at the recent Abington-Rockland game, and a lot of the reason, not only because it was the Abington-Rockland football game, but it was because of a special pregame ceremony that we hosted to celebrate Coach Jim Kelleher's 500th career game as the head coach of Abington High School football, which is an incredible milestone. He is only the 3rd high school football coach in high school sports history in Massachusetts. It's over 130 years. He's the 3rd guy to get to the 500 game mark, and it was a really nice night before the game with the entire Kelleher family out there on the field, which was huge, 50, 60, 70 Kelleher family, and then dozens and dozens of former players who all came back to Abington to salute their head coach. It was just a great event.
Yeah, absolutely. It really was, a special night, I know, for Coach Kelleher and his family, but also for the town as a whole, for an opportunity for them to recognize the contributions that Coach Kelleher has made for several decades. But I think it was also great for our students to see and live the tradition and the community support that we always talk about with them. And especially the last year or so, they haven't really seen that because people haven't been able to come to games. So for this group of kids, both the student athletes on the field and the students just attending, I think they know and hear a lot about the community that Abington is and the support. But to actually see, hundreds of people come out for a football game to support Coach Kelleher and really just the Abington football and Abington High School community is something special. And I think that the kids learn a lot from that. To see, people, ranging from, kids who graduated last year making sure they got home from college, to some people, in their 60s who are like, I want to make sure I'm here, and everything in between. I think the event on Friday night, as much as it was about Coach Kelleher, I think it really speaks to the community of Abington and the support that the alumni and just the town has for our students.
Well, to that point, it was nice because guys from his very first team from 1974 were here. In fact, they were the ones who presented the commemorative ball to Coach Kelleher. And after the game, I was talking to some of the Rockland football coaches, and they just made the comment. They said, you know, you guys do it right here in Abington. It's always fun to be here. It's an electric atmosphere at Memorial Field. And that's also true inside the gyms and stuff. We just have a great booster club and a great community of fans, and that's thanks to you people at home that really make that all happen. And go ahead,
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I think a lot of credit, goes to the students and their families, but also we have a very dedicated group of support staff here. Obviously, yourself, you do a lot in planning everything, and then there's the team at the football games, whether it's Chris Nagel in the PA or Steve Wakeland down on the field, and then there's a lot of school staff members that do a lot to make it happen, whether it's Steve Paraxis, Bud Madden, Kate Casey, Alicia Reed. We're really fortunate here, and I'm reminded of that consistently after our games end when students from other towns, parents, coaches comment on how exciting and how fun it is to come here. Recently, we hosted East Bridgewater in volleyball, and the coach, mentioned it's a fun atmosphere, and it just really is a great place to be, and it doesn't happen by chance. There's a lot of work that a lot of people put in to create that atmosphere, and I think it's important to acknowledge and recognize those people and those students who do a lot of work. The students who lead the fan section and coordinate to be there. At the cross country meet most recently, the starting line was lined with football players, and the finish line was lined with soccer players, and they really came out to support each other. And the coaches of the teams really pushed them to go and support each other, and that doesn't happen everywhere. And it's great when other people from other towns recognize that and remind us how special it is here.
It really is. It is fun, and I'm always amazed that when you look at whether it's a basketball game or football game or baseball game, softball game, the age of some of the alumni and the parents of kids who graduated years ago are still back in the stands because they enjoy the thrill of it and the fun of it, and it is something to be proud of here at Green Wave Nation. And you, as one of the leaders, we got to give a shout out to you, Peter, because you really kind of help coordinate everything that happens, and also a shout out to the DPW and the custodial staff here at Abington High School for getting all of our playing fields and our indoor sports facilities ready and keeping them safe for our team. So kudos to Green Wave Nation and everybody who supports making this happen. So that 500th game ceremony was a really nice ceremony. It was a great thing for Coach Kell. I also wanted to bring up, we had talked about at our last show about this year the MIA was allowing 8th graders to basically to take part in varsity sport at the high school level under certain conditions. And how's that working out thus far?
So it's really been outstanding for our athletic program overall. It's really, I think the benefit for the 8th graders is obvious. They get to play before they couldn't. That's the one that people see and really notice, and I think most people stop there. But the benefit, to me, the biggest benefit is actually for the high school students. So I'll just use one example. We have, our girls soccer team, the JV team, which is our lowest level. We don't have a freshman team. So that's where the 8th graders are playing. There's 17 girls on the team with 6 8th graders.
Great.
So if we don't have those 6 8th graders, you're left with 11. So if somebody rolls an ankle, isn't feeling well, you literally can't field the team. And then also to practice with 11 is really challenging. So those 11 might have to practice with the varsity team where their skill set isn't really there, so it kind of hinders their development. So by adding those 8th graders to the team, the practices are better and at a more appropriate level, so the skill development can take place. The games, it's never, oh, what are we going to do? And asking somebody to play a whole soccer game is a lot. And then the other piece of it is those students who start on the JV team and excel and do well, they can get called up to varsity now. Whereas if we were stuck with 11 or 12, they pretty much have to stay there so we can have a team. So to be able to give these kids the traditional high school experience has been outstanding. And that's true beyond girls soccer. Boys soccer is similar. Cross country, the coach pointed out to me there's less pressure for some of the kids to run when they're injured, because if you don't have 5 people run, mathematically it is impossible to win the meet. Even if you have the top 4 runners, you can't win. So kids, if there's only 6 or 7 people on the team, they feel like, I can't let my team down. I have to run. I have to push through this. But now that we have a few more bodies, it says, okay, I'm not feeling great today, or this injury's bothering me, I can sit this one out and get healthy and down the road. So overall, it's just been an outstanding experience. And we hope to continue it in the winter where it's needed. So some people have asked about the winter already. We just had our winter interest meetings very recently for the high school students. So we need to see how many high school kids are there, and then if there's a need for certain teams, we'll apply for the waiver through the MIA. The school committee has made the decision that we can do that through this school year. So each season we'll have to apply to the MIA and go from there. So I do think there will be some opportunities in the winter. But ultimately, an 8th grader cannot take the place of a high school student, so we need to see what the high school interest is first, and then we'll go from there.
Right, that's a good point, that you're not going to take away a senior's chances of playing at the varsity level on a team because an 8th grader comes up, but the 8th grader will fill a huge void in a JV team and allow more play time for everyone of all ages. And I want to have a shout out to, I saw 8th grader on the track team, the boys track team, Max, was outstanding as an 8th grader, and I can only see just a great future for him as he moved up. And training with the high school athletes now is just going to pay huge dividends for that Green Wave track team in the future. So it's a great program, and it's a safe program, but it gives kids the opportunity to challenge themselves if they'd like to.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
One other thing I wanted to bring up as we kind of get close to wrapping up the show is just to answer a couple of curiosity questions. When you come down Glenowitz Way as you're approaching Abington High School and you take that first turn into the high school, there's that grass field on the right, which was recently basically ripped up, reloamed, and reseeded. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on there?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's one of the final phases of the school building project. So that's still encompassed in that project. The field itself never really met the standards that we hoped that it would, for a variety of factors. Some of it was weather related. The pump on the irrigation went out at a tough time. There were just a lot of things that went wrong with it. To really nobody's fault. It was just a culmination of a lot of things. So, we wanted to make sure before we closed out the building project that we got that field right. So what we did is we hired a contractor. They came in. They essentially sod cut the top layer that was there. And then they regraded it to hopefully alleviate some of the drainage issues, and also to put down new fresh seed, so hopefully we can have a suitable playing field down the road. I know some people commented on there was a unique odor for a week or so, and that's really to the quality of the soil that we used this time around. The contractor really took great care about selecting the soil, and it has a lot of compost in it, which is responsible for the odor, but it's great for the grass.
Yeah.
So for a few days while they were spreading it, it certainly wasn't the most pleasant odor. But if you drive by it now, you can already see the seed taking. And we're excited, and we're hopeful that by next fall we'll be able to have some limited play on it with some of the lower stress things, like younger kids playing soccer. And then down the road, we hope to have one of the better grass playing fields in town right there.
Yeah, it's going to be a great addition, and again, kudos to you, because I know you've been on top of that, kind of enforcing the safety element of that field and the quality of it, working with Assistant Superintendent Felicia Moscheller and Peter Schaefer, and members of the building committee. So great job on that, making sure that we get everything we paid for. I think that'd be a great addition.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think John Stone from the DPW deserves a lot of credit as well. I think that field, just represents what happens in so many different places here, of just the town working together to make sure that, in this case, the students, but the town in general, has the facilities that it deserves and that it paid for, and we're going to make sure that that field gets to where it needs to be.
Excellent. So as we wrap up, two big ways for people to kind of stay in touch with schedules and updates, game changes, Twitter and online. What are the ways?
At Abington AD on Twitter is the best place for up-to-date information, live-time changes or scores, results from games, and also the schedules and results for all of our team sports will be posted on the Arbiter Live platform. So it's arbiterlive.com, and then if you search Abington High School, you can get all of our schedules there. The fall, all of our varsity teams' results will be there, sub-varsity schedules, and our winter schedules, while not 100% complete there, you can also see what we have up there as well if you're looking to get ahead of things and plan for the winter.
That arbiterlive.com website is really good. It's really efficient, has all the teams, like you said, all the schedules. It's something you should really take a look at if you're interested in any of the sports from Abington High School or for any other high school for that matter. So again, kudos to you guys and the MIA to try to keep that up in Abington High School. Pete, I want to thank you again for this latest edition of The Buzz. I want to thank Jackie Erner, obviously our student athlete guest today. She's fantastic. Want to wish best of luck to all of our student athletes out there as they come towards the end of this fall season, as we're approaching the fall season. We wish them all well in the playoffs. We'll have another edition of The Buzz coming up soon to give you more of a playoff update, and I hope to see you there in the stands, on the fields, in the bleachers, supporting Abington Green Wave sports. Thanks for tuning in.